What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out a title that I'm not quite sure is ready for a video yet, but it is a game that I always wanted to see made, and it's a game called Xenopurge, which from the name you can probably get a rough idea exactly what this game is just by hypothesizing off the top of your head what kind of game would be called Xenopurge. In this game, you are the operator that is controlling an auto-battling squad of colonial marines that are going inside space derelicts in order to hunt down alien xenomorph eggs, destroy them, and then extract. That's the entire point of the game. It's very, very simple for right now. However, that simplicity is complicated by sort of the keyboard analog controls of the game, which make it feel expectedly clunky, I guess. Like, I don't mean clunky in a bad way. I mean clunky as though it feels like you're inputting commands and telling a squad what to do with a command line or with an MS-DOS computer. And so this game doesn't have mouse controls as of right now. I would highly recommend you don't release without my mouse controls, because that's probably my #1 takeaway from the game, having now played it for about an hour prior to the recording of this video. But today we're going to take a look at the game for about 30 minutes. We're going to see if it's something that floats your jimmy, if it's the kind of thing that you like. If not, that's perfectly fine too. I'll have a link to the game down below where you can wishlist it. On top of that, you can take a look down there for a whole bunch of other Nerd Castle links. So let's start a new run. As of right now, there's no thematics, there's no cinematics, there's nothing to really draw you into the game right now. I get the feeling that this is kind of like a proof of concept. The developer that fired it over said that he was playing around with an idea, and this is what he came up with. So I'm guessing it's got a long road to hoe in front of it, but I will say that the core gameplay is, I've thought about this game for like the last 20 years. This is a game that I've always wanted to get made, so when he decided to swing it on through my inbox, I was like, alright, I'll take a look at your playtest and kind of see what's going on with it. This game, you're going to take a series of derelicts and a series of marine bases that we're going to go back to in order to re-equip and resupply. Your money in this game are just like colonial credits. Up in the top left-hand corner, you can see like a little coin symbol. As we clear out eggs, we get more requisition that we can use at other tiles that allow us to do things like buy guns, get new squad members, change around the default behavior of our marines, because if you take a look at the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see that R. Morse has strike and he has charge, whereas D. Hicks has strike and stand and fight. Those are very, very different, and if you don't understand the differences between those two fight profiles, this game is going to go really poorly for you. Now, the guy at the top, he kind of just does whatever the hell he wants. He's the squad leader, and so we can't give him orders. We give all the rest of the squad orders around him, though, while he's going into the space derelict to try to clear out this alien egg. So up here at the top, actually, what do I want to do here? So we've got 4 different places we can go to after this first mission. The top one that you're seeing up here, the bullets, that's where we can buy new weapons for our squad members. The door right there with the reticle on it, that's going to be accuracy training for our guys. You can see that they're all broken down into 5 core attributes. They've got health, they've got melee damage, they've got speed, they've got accuracy with their firearm, and then they've got the damage that their firearm does underneath that. And so you are going to be cultivating these guys as you go mission to mission, figuring out what works and what doesn't. I'll say that I ran a whole bunch of squads into the ground before I started to realize that you're kind of looking for certain things in your Marines to fill out weaknesses that your squad has. You can have up to 4 men. This one down here, I actually don't know what the med bay does down there. I have no clue. And then the fist icon that comes after this skull is melee training. You can increase the melee damage that your characters do. So for example, in the case of R. Morse, he's got a profile that says strike and charge. That means when he sees an enemy, he's going to rush headlong into melee without firing his weapon, and he's going to start throwing down with that enemy with whatever melee weapon he has on him. You don't get to assign melee weapons in this game, but I would highly recommend that they add that. At least I haven't seen any melee weapons, and I've made it probably 10, 11 missions into the game and haven't seen any melee weapons. But I do think that they should have a melee slot and a range slot so that you can build around your melee guys that are like out in the front tanking. But Morse is going to be our melee guy. His entire shtick is going to be that he runs at enemies the second he sees them, and we need to plan around that. Otherwise, he's going to get isolated and taken down by the xenomorphs. Alternatively, D. Hicks has Strike, but he's very unlikely to use it. Strike as a melee attack because he has the stand and fight profile, which means that when he sees an enemy, he stops exactly where he's at and he holds an overwatch and just opens fire until the enemy gets to him, and then he will resume melee. And so we kind of want to think about these things as we're going on into the game. Because we have a stand and fight guy, I'm going to go after the weapon upgrade up here that we can put on top of one of my Marines. This is what the mission looks like, and this is what the rest of the game is going to look like. It's going to look like a wireframe game that you're playing on like a DOS monitor, and in fact, you can swap. There's different monitors depending on what you're doing, and you can look at different monitors to figure out what's going on in some cases. We're not quite there yet. And you press the tab key to rotate your character's vision in between monitors. For right now, though, we've got to pick a deployment spot. So I'm going to put Morse up here, and I'm going to put Hicks up here, and this part of the game, you'll note I can't point these things out with a mouse right now, so next to where it says select action in the top left, you'll see that there's a little paper right there with a 2 next to it. The more guys you have in your squad, there's a meter that's going to fill up underneath that, and that's how many orders you can give. When you run out, you can't give orders, and your guys are just going to act on their best behalf, the best that they can. But while we have orders, we can kind of assign guys to do stuff. So I'm going to finish the deployment here, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to retask Hicks to stick with Morse no matter what. There's an enemy in the hallway, and what you'll see is D2 is going to open fire on him, but R1 is going to close and try to get into melee. And we've already found the egg. So this one was actually really, really easy because these derelicts are procedurally generated. Sometimes the egg is going to be exactly like the next room over from where you breach and get inside the ship. And then other times you're going to have to really crawl through this place in order to find it. Now you may have noticed that sound effects are missing from the combat and from the struggle right there. I do highly recommend that they get those added on in. The sound of plosive gunshots going, you know, ka-chug, ka-chug from like a revolver like our guys are rocking right now, or whatever sort of like magnetic pistol they're using. I don't really know what they're equipped with. Give it sort of like a whoomp almost, like it's coming through a wall, like you're hearing it with some kind of metal blockage in the way, like it's coming through their microphones basically while they're scrumming their way on through there. However, some sound effects are in the game, like them confirming orders and shouting out what they're doing, so I'm guessing that that's coming in the near future. We've defeated our first alien egg. That one was super easy, and in fact with these early missions where you've got a limited squad, you're actually kind of hoping for easy missions. Taking on like a mission where the egg is in the opposite corner from where you spawn in as your first mission with 2 guys can get really hairy. But the good news is all of our Marines are clones, so if they die, it doesn't matter. They get recloned at the end of the fight anyways, and then they rejoin your squad. The only downside there is that you get less requisition because the dystopian company that you're working for, the sort of Wayland Yutani company that's sponsoring these actions or these military attacks, they deduct from your paycheck if you lose clones because I guess it costs money to get more clones. Let's buy a weapon here. So this right here is a armory. We can get an assault rifle or we can get a shotgun. I think we'll go with an assault rifle and we'll put it on Hicks. And you can see that his little icon has changed over there and his damage has gone up by about 40%. He's our highest accuracy character, so it'll probably work out pretty well for him having it. I was sort of hoping they would have a sniper rifle or a DMR inside of there because I've had a lot of good luck taking Hicks and putting him at overwatch points and just having him hold down entire corridors with a sniper rifle because the sniper rifle one-shot xenomorphs until you get to the more complex, like more complicated badass ones. But for now, that'll do. At any time in between missions, you can inspect your units and their stats and what they do. Backspace is going to take us back. You can inspect your commands that you can give, and in fact, not only do your characters level up, your Marines, you level up as an operator. This is one of those rare cases where I've seen a game kind of go breaking the fourth wall with it, where you as the operator can learn new commands. So for example, you can learn a command to like open a door and throw a grenade in, you know what I mean? And I think that's kind of an interesting idea, although I haven't been brave enough to try it because I'm almost positive I'm gonna blow myself up if I take it. Let's take this next mission because after this one we get our 3rd squad mate. I'm gonna breach in from the top, I think. Oh no! No, undo all. That's not what I want. Always keep your group together. I've found that there's very limited situations in which you want to separate your party. and this is not one of those situations. Oh, we got an enemy right around the corner. It looks like Morse is on him. He's striking right there, and then it looks like Hicks put him down with a well-placed burst straight into melee. That's good accuracy right there. I've been shooting since I was 5 years old and hunting my entire life, and I don't think I would fire into a melee. I just don't think I'm brave enough to do it. I'd be super worried that I'd hit something that I didn't mean to hit. I don't think anybody needs healing just yet, and you may have noticed the sort of lurching way that they move around the map. That's because this game is, in fact, turn-based. It doesn't like... So you'll notice little things about this game as you play it longer and longer. It's actually a turn-based game. It's not real-time. It's cycling through turns. You'll note that they pick like a square to step onto, and then they hold there for a second. That door... Oh, Jesus. Okay, so D2's in a good position. Hopefully R1 can hold. I'm going to give R1 the command to use a healing stim on himself. We did find the egg, put another battle stim on R1, and I'm guessing that the spawner is inside that room that's right above us because our next wave counter just reset after that happened, and they came out of that door. And so your deductive reasoning is also going to be important with what this game is trying to do. But with our $4, let's see if we can get ourselves a new character. Inside this menu, we can also modify characters' logic. So for example, we can go inside of here and we can remove, for example, if we didn't like it, for example, that Morse charges into melee. Instead, we could retrain him with run and gun. He will lose charge, and he will get the run and gun profile, which means that instead of charging into combat while doing nothing then meleeing, he will charge into combat while shooting, which is kind of like a flat upgrade, and then he will join melee. So I am going to take that upgrade right there, because it'll help out. We'll also take our next unit over here. We want to look at their skills. We want to look at their stats. We've got Lawson, who's kind of okay at shooting. He's got low HP and he's got bad attack for somebody that's got strike and charge. He's got strike and fall back, but his accuracy isn't great. His melee is good, and because these Marines are procedurally generated, sometimes you end up with weird ones. I think that Reynolds is probably the one that we want to take. I mean, we could take Lawson. The understanding with Lawson, though, is that we have to get rid of that charge and turn it into something ranged focused so that he can make use of his moderate accuracy, I guess. If we take Reynolds, who's actually pretty decent in melee, we're going to have to get rid of fallback. So no matter what we do with these characters, we're going to have to do some behavioral modification on our clones. I'll take Reynolds for right now. We don't have any money left for any more behavioral modifications. So, oh, we've got a weapon shop up here, though. That's kind of nice. Okay, yeah, let's go and see if we can knock out this mission, and then we'll see if we can actually go for... I feel better about spawning in at the top. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to have Hicks follow. We're going to have Reynolds follow. That red that you see right there, that's a spawner. So when the clock in the top left-hand corner gets down to 0, it's going to spawn a whole bunch of enemies on us. It's basically a vent. It's a way for the aliens to get after us. R1 is doing his scouting.
Opening fire.
Okay, we got a lot of aliens inside this boat over here.
Target destroyed.
A lot of my shots missed right there. R1, I don't know what he's doing. It looks like he's just kind of meandering and looking around. But as long as everybody stays with him, I don't mind being at the base of this corridor over here when this wave happens, because it's about to happen like right now. So, here come enemies. Okay, they're shooting and fighting for their lives right now. We are going to need a battle stim on D2. He got chewed up pretty good. Doesn't look like we found the egg just yet, so I'm going to tell Morse to head up to R6. I've got a vibe about R6. It's going to put us in a really bad position if the enemy spawns by the time we get up there, but I don't think it's going to be avoidable. Open fire. Give me something right here. I guess there's also like a little bit of a Space Hulk influence on this game, but there's no denying that Space Hulk was really heavily inspired by Alien as well, so... Okay, we spawned into melee. We've also got a specialized enemy up there. That one that's an X, that's an extra strong Xenomorph. He's a tough boy. Let's put a battle stim on R1. We are going to have R1 head to R4. Get down the hallway about as rapidly as you can. We're getting a little scuffed up and we've used up all of our combat stims. We don't have anything left, so...
All clear.
Okay, so we know for a fact that the next room is going to be top left. And hopefully R1 is smart enough to know that. He is smart enough to... Oh, it's not there. Oh, buddy, what am I looking for here? We're about to get caught out in another fight. We may lose somebody. Which room have I not hit? Oh, there's a corridor to the bottom left. I didn't see it. Oh, we definitely lose an R1.
Target destroyed.
Oh, buddy. Okay, we have KIA. And that's that. That's okay. We can run it back. That was a really tricky hallway because you had a spawner in the hallway. And typically you use hallways like that to like overwatch and protect yourself. But there was also one at the logical overwatch point. There was a spawn point right next to that too. So that was just kind of like a bad map layout. That was kind of like a troublesome one. Let's go for right here. And we'll upgrade Morse's melee this time around. I would like to see different portraits for the clones too. Like, I think they should kind of have like 5 or 6 different facial hairs, 5 or 6 different hairs, 5 or 6 different faces, 5 or 6 different like hair, you know, skin colors and stuff like that, so that you get like interesting looking characters each time you go through, so that you can get attached to them a little bit. All right, we'll give Hicks the follow order, and we'll have him just kind of run through this thing right now, and we'll see where we end up. Okay, we're burning time, but we've got hostiles. Line him up for the shot. Get him. He missed all of his shots. That's not great. Oof, he missed 6 shots in a row with a 60% chance to hit. There we go. He got him with that one, it looked like. He tagged him a little bit. I do think they could lean into R1, use a combat stim. I do think they could lean into the alien vibe a little bit more, where instead of having solid dots for a lot of the characters that are in the game too, it would be interesting if the characters were actually like blinking blips that have kind of like a dong, dong. You know, like, you know the sound effect from Aliens when the motion scanner is working? That's exactly what I'm talking about. R1's in rough shape right now. I don't know if he's gonna make it. Hopefully, yeah, he's checking that room right there. Hey, we found the egg. Get the egg quick. Take the egg out right now. Get that. The second the egg goes down, we automatically win the mission, and your team is assumed to have extracted. And so, let's just knock out the egg about as quickly as possible. Egg's been knocked out. Almost. Getting there. Sort of. All right, egg's down. We got $4. That should be enough for me to train up Morse's melee to make him put up a stiffer fight in combat. So let's take his melee power up to 7. That's going to help out quite a bit, because you may have noticed that compared to guns, melee doesn't really do a good job. I'll throw the extra $1 at D Hicks just in case he gets caught up in melee too, because you never know. We're already here, so we might as well. Let's take this mission right here. I don't know if I'm going to branch downwards. We need a weapons supplier. So I'll probably go straight across to the east and then cut upwards if we survive that long. You know, it depends if we live that long. All right, you guys go in right there. We'll give a follow order to D2. So you fall in behind Morse. But don't let Morse get too far ahead. With 7 melee damage, he should be able to absolutely pistol whip the hell out of most of these guys. He's checking the door that I wanted him to check, so that's good.
Advancing.
Okay. Morse, head to R4. We'll just kind of hold our breath and hope there's no spawner at this junction on the right. There's not. That's good, because we got 13 seconds until aliens start bursting out of the vents. So let's go head to room, maybe? I think maybe head to room. I don't really want to get caught up inside of here. It'd be cool if there was things to find inside some of the rooms and stuff like that as well. I'd be down for that. Looks like the aliens made a wrong turn and they went into the room on the right. That should buy us some much needed time. Big shot right there. Okay. Help D2, help D2. He's not built for melee. There we go. Okay, kill confirmed. Let's put a battle stim on R1. R1 is looking at that. Okay, so he sees that door down at the bottom.
Engaging target.
We've got some kind of enemy inside of there. He's got a different icon than what I'm used to. I don't think I've seen the diamond yet. Yep, just bring him down.
Enemy down.
Okay, good stuff. Head to room, Morse, go to R3. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh, you left him there. Beautiful. Well, hopefully he can kill a couple on their way in. He did not kill anything, but he did find the egg sack over here. D2's about to have a terrible day. He's about to just have the worst afternoon ever. So D2 is now KIA. Hopefully R1 can finish off that egg sack before the enemy gets here. They've got about 4 turns to get in here, and it looks like they're looking for him. So he must have snuck by. It doesn't look like they were available for that one. All right, so that's been destroyed right there. Let's take the top path. Let's pick up our 3rd Marine. We have a very strong strike and charge character right here. Yep. I'll take him. He's already kind of like where he needs to be. What can I do here? I can give Hicks suppression. That means that he puts a nerf on the enemy's speed while he's shooting at him. I could get rid of charge on Bishop, and I could give him run and gun, which basically makes him shoot his gun while he's approaching the enemy, since he's going to charge anyways. Oh no, he's going to lose charge. Well, yeah, go run and gun, because run and gun to me seems like it's just a better version of charge. I may be getting that wrong, but let's go in right here, and I'm making for the weapon shop. I'm going to deploy inside the big room because I like my leg space. There we go.
Acknowledged. Order acknowledged. All clear.
And if I find a good spot to hold down, that's what I'm... Oh, we got a hostile.
Engaging target.
T3 open on him.
Locking on target.
Okay. Looking good.
Target destroyed.
Big old
Target
batch of
destroyed.
aliens up in here. Give T3
Received.
a little bit of that. We've got spawns coming in 15 seconds.
Advancing.
Nothing inside that room right there.
Advancing.
It's going to kind of depend if the enemy comes and looks for us. Boys, this is a really bad place for us to stop right now. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy, but this is a terrible decision that you're making.
Engaged. Enemy engaged. Advancing.
Okay, got our melee out front.
Enemy down.
Battle
Target
stem for
eliminated.
Morse. Eggy?
All clear.
No Eggy. I've got one command right here. Morse, head to R7.
Acknowledged.
That at least makes us a little bit safe on the next wave because we've got a long hallway in front of us.
Enemy engaged.
And we found the egg. We guessed right. Okay, kill the egg off. But yeah, this is an interesting little proof of concept. I wouldn't recommend releasing it in the current state that it's in. It's missing a lot of sound effects. It's missing a lot of complexity from what I've seen so far. But it is a really good idea for a game, and it's something that I've wanted to play for a really, really long time. But yeah, closing thoughts on this one, and I'm going to start out by saying that I'm like really biased on this one because I like big, clunky, analog-style, aliens-influenced sci-fi. So I would be the target audience here for a game like this. This is the kind of thing that I like to see from indie gaming. And so to start off with, I like this demo, this proof of concept that you've got going on. From what I understand, it's really early on in development, but I would consider it just that, a proof of concept where it's at right now. It's going to need some work and some building on the foundation before I think it could compete with a lot of the other sci-fi games that are out there. If we look at that field, you've got things like Duskers, Dead Knot, Space Hulk, among many others. They all kind of play to their strengths, and they all work on atmosphere that's heavily rooted in like Ridley Scott's work, that sort of echoey, claustrophobic, haunting, empty, clanky sort of vibe. So since the game's pretty simple right now, I'll just offer suggestions as to what I would want to see in a game like this to get me to pull the trigger on it and play it a lot. The auto-battling is interesting, and you do get muscle memory for giving orders pretty quickly, but I think having toggleable mouse controls would be good for a wider audience. The maps are tight, they're claustrophobic. I think it does a good job as of right now for kind of getting you into its gameplay, but the soundscape and the soundtrack could be quite a bit better in emulating that Aliens sort of feel. Gunshots coming through the microphone when your men are engaged in combat, gurgled screams coming from their microphones and things of that nature, digitally scrambled screeches of aliens fighting and dying coming along with it through the microphone. Those are all things that make you feel helpless when you're an operator in this situation, and I think that would actually build up the dread of the mission quite a bit, just with some audio changes. I'd like to see different guns being distinguishable by sound in the microphone. That'd be really cool. You could tell the difference between your sniper shooting inside of his mic versus somebody with like a shotgun. It'd be cool if the portraits for your clones on the right could be customized or they look different from one another. It'd be really cool if when you clicked on them, it swapped to their helmet cam so that you're watching their helmet cam while also watching the overgrid. Oof, that would be sick, and you can see what they're seeing inside the Derelict. More gear, more equipment, more customization, more perks, maybe even relationships between your Marines as they succeed and fail one another would be kind of cool. It'd be kind of sick too if the player himself had a report, because you're playing the role of like their operator in this game. You're supposed to be watching their back. If you make bad calls, it'd be kind of cool if they stopped trusting you as well and they started going off script. I think that the maps could use more objectives, side objectives, things to find, things to scavenge on the wrecks, consoles that you can hack that turn on turrets, they turn on cameras, they lock doors, and then open the airlocks behind them and suck the aliens out if their hive is behind it. All those sorts of things are what I would want to see from a title like this if it was going to be something that I was going to dump a lot of time into. It's a good, solid foundational idea, and the gameplay idea at its core, like the vertical slice, is good. It just needs more content, it needs more variety, and so I liked it. I liked how at first I felt frustrated that my Marines were acting on their own and not really listening, but once you start paying attention to the default behaviors and how their different tactical modifiers and their customization change things around, it's actually a fun system to min-max and play around with, especially when you cross it with weapons and character stats that favor certain weapons and certain tactics. You end up with things like snipers that can basically sit at a crossing forever just one-shotting everything, or shotgunners that keep one-shotting stuff as they move forward and the rest of the guys are behind them firing. Cool idea for a game. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, it was Xenopurge. Tomorrow it'll be something else. See you later, folks.